Today, we heard from Alec Murdaugh himself during his double murder trial. Murdaugh accused of killing his wife Maggie and their son Paul back in 2021. That trial wrapped up about 30 minutes ago with the state cross-examining Murdaugh, but we'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah, our first team coverage continues in Walterboro with Raphael James, Blair Sable, and Cameron Bopp. And Raph, starting with you, how did the defense start their questioning of Alec this morning?
Well, the defense was very pointed. They went straight for those questions that they knew the prosecution was going to answer. They let Alec answer those questions and get them out of the way. But shortly after raising his hand and putting the other one on the Bible and swearing to tell the truth, Alec Murdaugh admitted that he had lied. He admitted that he had lied to police, SLED investigators, the night of the murder, and he blamed it on his paranoia. He blamed it on his opioid addiction. Blair Sable joins me now, and Blair, I want you to talk to us about how he responded during the cross-examination of the state.
Raphael, lead prosecutor Creighton Waters started off strong with this cross-examination, much like the defense did with theirs earlier this morning. And he focused on the fact that Alec Murdaugh, he lied about his alibi all the way up until this trial, and that he stole millions from his clients, pointing these out from the get-go to the jury. And the state, much like the defense, is really taking their time with Alec Murdaugh on the stand. Just before the end of the day, Waters did tell the judge that he expects this cross-examination to continue for another 3 to 4 hours. Well, Waters, he also brought up the legacy of the Murdaugh family, their stronghold on the justice system, and their good relationship with law enforcement. And much like admitting to lying about his alibi, Murdaugh fessed up to doing wrong by his clients one by one as the prosecution brought them up, but he couldn't answer any specifics.
I don't dispute that they occurred. I don't dispute that everything about what I did was wrong. Okay. But I can't sit and tell you the specific details that you're wanting me to give you.
Well, back to their relationship with law enforcement, Murdaugh had a badge as a volunteer assistant solicitor that he kept at the front of his car dashboard that looked very similar to law enforcement. He also testified that he had blue lights installed in his car that was actually owned by the law firm. But when asked if he felt like he was a part of law enforcement by Creighton Waters, he backed off, saying that he did not feel that way. And earlier during direct testimony, Murdaugh, he denied outright that he ever harmed his wife or son, or that he stashed guns or any bloody clothes at his mother's house, among many other things. Ralph?
All right, thank you very much, Blair. It was a very tense examination, as you heard. The state trying to prove its case, asking about a lot of financial crimes that most of them Alec Murdaugh admitted to. But Creighton Waters took a very aggressive stance. Cameron Bopp was inside of the courtroom. And Cameron, this may be the most aggressive that we've seen cross-examination since we've been following this trial.
Well, Ralph, it felt less like a question and answer session and more like two attorneys trying to argue their case, which really is what we have going on here. We have a former attorney, a disbarred attorney, Alec Murdaugh, trying to maintain his innocence, and then prosecutor Creighton Waters trying to get Murdaugh to admit to things that he likely doesn't want to admit to. Still, though, Waters showed absolutely no mercy in this cross-exam. Murdaugh spent the better part of the morning in tears, crying as he described the murders of his wife and son. But Waters had a job to do. He didn't want to stay on that topic. He moved on. And Murdaugh's demeanor completely changed during the cross-exam. He still spoke directly to Waters and to the jury, but at times much more timid and more defensive in his answers. The jury appears to be very interested in this testimony. They seem to maybe zone out during the defense's earlier questioning, but Waters comes across as so commanding. This is a common theme throughout the trial. He's commanding when he comes up to bat. He really owns the room as an attorney, and all jurors were focused on what was happening. Here's a listen to just some of that combative cross-exam.
No, sir, that may or may not be true. Okay. And Mr. Waters, just to try to get through this quicker, I admit...
I know you want to get through it quicker, but we're not. So answer the question, please.
Waters also had Murdaugh explain how he never calls his wife Maggie and son Paul by the nicknames Mags and Paul in any investigative interview, and we heard those names for the first time in the courtroom today. And Raf, he used those nicknames almost exclusively in court today in front of the jury. Raf.
Thanks, Cameron. And speaking of wanting to get through it quicker, before Alec Murdaugh took the stand this morning, defense attorney Dick Harpootlian mentioned that if the state is able to bring in these financial crimes again, he was trying to get that part of it thrown out one more time, even though the judge had ruled against it. He said if this is allowed to happen, this could prolong this case, this trial, by a week or more. From the Colleton County Courthouse, I'm Raphael James. Back to you.
All right, Raf, thank you very much. Now, as always, you can follow along with the trial wherever you watch Live 5 News. Every day, our team of reporters bringing you all of the developments of the trial. You can also follow along with the latest developments on live5news.com.